So you're looking to buy a house, but do you know how? Well, I can promise you by the end of this video, you're not only gonna know how to buy a house, but you're gonna know how to write a winning offer in order to get you in your dream home with less stress. Before you even start looking for a house, number one, we're gonna go over this, is check out the real estate market. Because let's say this, for example, if you're looking for a house in downtown metro Atlanta versus the historic district in gorgeous, charming Savannah, Georgia on the beach, two completely different markets with two completely different price points with completely different things going on. So you need to dive deep on that. And the source that I use is called Altos Research. A lot of stats and data are pulled from homes that have already sold and they're off market. Altos Research pulls homes that are currently on the market day by day, so we see how many go under contract and what's happening with those contracts. Because let's say your average price point here in Warner Robins, Georgia is $252,000 as of a couple of weeks ago. There might be the average price point of $252,000, but what's happening in the market? Is it actually closing at $252,000, or are buyers asking for $10,000 in closing costs on average? And now we can mine that data and figure out, sure, this is where the price point's at, but what can we as the buyers get out of the sellers? Can we ask for closing costs right now? Do we need to ask over asking price? What is the stuff that we need to know? And that all comes from market data. Go check out Altos Research. If you want the free stuff and they make you sign up, just email me, my stuff's in the description. I can get you set up. It's zip code specific. So the zip code of the city that you're looking for, there will be an entire just data nerd, like 6-page report going over the median home price, average days on market based off of a 4-bedroom, 3-bath versus a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It has everything. Also shows if it's a buyer's market, seller's market. So number one, market data. If you need help, email me, text me, stuff in the description, or go to altosresearch.com. And no, I don't get paid, and no, they're not gonna make my subscription cheaper because I told you on YouTube. I promise, it's just the best source, and that's why I use them. The next one that we're gonna go over is your financial situation. This is something you should do before you take a look at a house, okay? Because not only are you gonna have the house itself, which is your mortgage payment, you're gonna have taxes, maybe there's some title insurance that's gonna go on during your closing costs and all the different fees. And also, is there an HOA in the neighborhood that you're looking in? All of these numbers start to stack on top of each other, and you wanna make sure you understand your budget before you go out and look at houses. Because a $300,000 house in Atlanta might be different from Savannah, might be different from Warner Robins, different from Macon, based off of tax areas, based off of HOAs. And the best way to do this is to get with a trusted lender. Now, again, not all lenders are built the same. Some lenders have to work for specific companies and they don't have the full array of things that some other lenders might not be able to do, okay, or can do. So what you need to do is you need to find a lender, and you need to get them an address to a property. This is kind of how you should test them. Now, they're gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm on your team, okay? Oh, wow, my lender partner, don't get mad at me. You wanna send them a property address, and that property address you say, hey, based off of my situation, let's say I'm a veteran, because I'm a veteran and I wanna use my VA home loan. If I were to put X amount down or zero down based off of this house today, what would my monthly payment be? And can you break me down a cost sheet? It's gonna go over every fee. It's gonna go over taxes in the local area. It's gonna go over your monthly payment, how much you need for a down payment, depending on credit. If you haven't given them your credit yet, they might not be able to get it to the dollar. Just give them an average of what you think your credit's at. And they're gonna pull an entire list and you're gonna see what the monthly payment will be. Maybe you can afford more house than you thought. Maybe you can afford less. But this should be a blessing and not a curse. So don't overbuy for a house, okay? You still got groceries, you still got entertainment, your car, right? Husband might wanna go to the Braves game because they're doing great this year. You just never know, okay? So make sure you don't overpay, but know where you can be at for your monthly payment with everything included. Next step, choosing the right realtor. Real estate agent, somebody passed the test. Realtor abides by the code of ethics and are part of a board that's national. I'm part of the Middle Georgia Board of Realtors. There's so much going on, okay? But finding the right realtor is essential. We're not all built different. We all have different market experience. We have different market data points that we're gonna talk about and everything in between. You wanna find an expert. Let me ask you a question, okay? When I'm on vacation with the wife, when we go to a place we've never been before, how do you find a restaurant to go to? You usually pop your cell phone up, you look on Google, like maybe you're feeling barbecue, maybe you want seafood because you're at the beach, and you find top seafood restaurant near me. And what do? You usually pick the top 3 5-star Google reviewed restaurants, the top 3, then you click, you look at their menu, and then you decide where you want to go, including you read their reviews, right? Am I right? Of course. That's how you find restaurants when you're gone. So that's how I usually do when I'm hiring anybody, including a real estate agent. But biasly, I would hire me because I like me, okay? So if me buys a house, me is going to hire me. However, do your due diligence, and usually that's a great way. And also, if you need to interview multiple agents, do so. If you don't sign a contract with one, you're not obligated to work with them. And you, if you're gonna exchange hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to make sure that you are properly taken care of in the right hands. Next, you do a strategic buyers meeting. At least that's what I call it, because I need to know your wish list. I need to know everything that you want on a house, okay? Maybe you need a pool, maybe you need a fence, maybe you're looking to do a new construction from the ground up and you need help, right? You wanna sit down with your agent. Me, I do it on Zoom, I share my screen, and I use my platform on how I'm gonna send you properties. I don't just do the MLS, I'm partnered with a company that uses AI, artificial intelligence, that's going to dynamically search for houses that's within your search criteria and actually send you stuff before it ever hits the market on, let's say, the big websites. You're gonna be the first one to see it, and we together are gonna be able to get first boots on the ground at the property, hopefully having the right showing. Now, after that meeting is over, then we can start touring homes. And also, really quick, I understand us agents, we all have our own platforms to send you houses, right? We have the MLS, I have my AI technology platform that's awesome, but know this, realtor.com, Zillow, and all of those platforms, they all have their own search criteria. You're fine using those, but understand this, if you inquire on realtor.com, if you inquire on Zillow, if you inquire on the other ones, your phone number is gonna get sent out to multiple agents, and if we're already working together or you picked another agent, people are going to call you like crazy trying to convince you to either leave your agent or use them, which is essentially the same thing, when you're just trying to search. So if you're using those other sites, totally okay. Just send the link of properties that you want to go and see to your agent via text message or email. Don't click the inquire button, or that can lead down a path of spam calls. And say we're going and looking at houses right now. Pro tip, you wanna have a sheet of paper out. I have a form. Every single house that we go and take a look at together, we're gonna see like 5-star, 4-star, I hated the bathroom, but I love the kitchen. Like, you're gonna write down what's going on the houses, and we're gonna put those sheets together, and we're gonna go over which was the best house. Personally, I like about an 8.5 out of 10. Once we find an 8.5 out of 10, that's usually when we write an offer. Anything over an 8.5 is usually gonna be a new construction house that you are building yourself, or it might be out of our price range, right? A house that I want that's a 9.5, I can't afford, right? But an 8.5 is really the perfect spot. And what you're gonna do is take those sheets, figure out which house that you like the best, and make sure that they're all 8.5s, and then you pick the one that's best for you and your family. And that's just a little pro tip when you're going and looking at other homes. But hey, we found the right property. What now? Step number 1, your agent should be running what's called a comparable market analysis to see in the first place, is the house even worth that much money? Because let's say somebody listed the house for $300,000. Sure, there's the little internet guide on how much you think the house is worth, but you really need a more in-depth analysis than just a computer-generated number, because you do not want to leave money on the table. Houses are worth 2 things. How much is a bank willing to lend, and how much is a buyer, you, willing to spend? But there's a huge issue that can run in. If we offer $300,000 on a house and it appraises for $285,000, and the seller says, hey, you offer $300,000, I want $300,000, we're not budging, and we're gonna put it back on the market, that means that you will have to come out of your personal checking account 15 grand in order to get the house. You don't wanna do that. So if we do a comparable market analysis and get as close as we can to an appraisal number, as soon as we know we wanna make an offer on the house, that is how you can get a good deal. Also, pro tip, let's say for example, it's a $300,000 house. When we find out it's actually worth $310,000, now you could leverage and say, hey, we wanna offer $310,000 for the house, but we would like $10,000 in closing costs. Seller thinks, well, I'm getting my $300,000 ask price. This is perfect. It doesn't matter to me. Boom, you just saved $10,000 from coming out of your checking account and you got the bank to be able to finance your property. Next, we want to go over market demand. How fast are homes selling and what is the buyer demand for the property? For example, in my area, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house sells the same day because we live next to Warner Robins Air Force Base and it is an amazing rental area. And a 3-bed, 2-bath on the right piece of property, if it is an investor's dream, they sell for cash it's literally the same day, right? Or let's say that you're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home on 15 acres. We need to be able to figure out how much time do we actually have before we need to make an offer and what type of offer do we need to write? Because if there's not a whole lot of demand, we have the leverage. The seller's agent, we're gonna call them. And then what we need to do is say, hey, what is important to your seller? What kind of deal will get this done? They could say it's the asking price. They could say we don't want to come out of pocket for closing costs. They could actually say this as well, which has happened to me just a couple weeks ago, and how we won the offer when there was 7 offers on this house. I asked, what is important to your seller? Hey, they're in the military. They actually have to be out of their house in 21 days from today. And if they can close before then, they'll accept your offer right now. We got the deal, we agreed to 21 days, our lender in the attorney's office got it done, and we closed on day 19. So you need to be able to figure that out. So that is a very, very important step before you even write the offer, because if you just write one, how in the world do you know it's gonna get accepted? You wanna go to the source. And then next is the condition of the property. Is it move-in ready or does it need work? Because based on the type of loan that you're gonna use, there might be certain criteria like the VA loan, the USDA loan, the FHA loan, that it might not qualify for. So you either need to come out of pocket and actually make those repairs and fixes, the seller will, or you'll have to use, let's say for example, a 203K FHA loan. And you need to get it repaired, but you can finance the repair costs into the loan itself. There's a lot going on, but that's a question and a conversation that you need to have with your real estate agent before you make an offer. And real quick, when it comes to offers, you're gonna have the purchase and sale agreement, you're gonna have a bunch of different documents. I'm not gonna bore you and waste your time with those. Your agent already knows how to write those, or at least I hope they do. And if they don't, just give me a call. Just kidding. But seriously, when it comes down to it, there's this final piece that you need to know, and it's called earnest money. It's the amount that you're willing to give to the seller with your goodwill and say, hey, I'm serious about buying this property. Me, typically offer 1%. So if it's a $300,000 house, typically do $3,000 down. Now you have what's called a due diligence period. During your due diligence period, you can hire an inspector to inspect the property to make sure it is what it says it is. There's no foundation issues, electrical stuff that's just horribly wrong, plumbing, all that good stuff. Here in Georgia, you're gonna look at somewhere between $275 and $400, depending on the size of the property, that you're gonna come out of pocket from your checking account to pay the inspector during the due diligence period. Typically, it's about a 7-day period, and the money goes to the attorney. It can go to a real estate office. Don't really prefer that. I would just let the attorney handle it because they're gonna be the ones handling the money anyway. And let's say the inspection came back and it's bad. You can get your earnest money back as long as we cancel the contract before the due diligence period is over. And to talk a little bit about the inspection period, real quick, you can go with your agent to the house during the inspection and ask the inspector questions and really get how he feels about the property. Now understand this, inspectors, there's nothing wrong for the house, right? If there's nothing wrong with it, sometimes they're gonna freak you out and make so many things on that report pop up, so it makes them feel like they got, you paid them. Okay, there might not be anything wrong with the house except for minor cosmetics and they blow it out of proportion. Don't be nervous. You can be there in person. It solves like 99% of the concerns that you're gonna have. But also what I do with my clients is I get on a Zoom call, I share my screen, and then I go line by line, photo by photo, item for item of everything. We do 3 things. We ask the seller to repair the item, replace it, or we just approve it and say, nah, it's good to go, we'll take care of it. If there's any issues outside of normal wear and tear and cosmetic, those are really the items that we want to be able to go over and ask the seller for. But if it's normal wear and tear, cosmetic, you should be able to take care of those things after you close on the home. Also, you're gonna have an appraisal go out if you chose to go with a loan. The bank's usually gonna order it. The appraisal goes out usually 2 to 3 weeks after we've made the initial offer on the property. And then there's really 3 key people that you wanna keep in mind during this process. You're gonna have the closing attorney reaching out to you. They might ask you to send a wire. They might ask you for some information, social security card and all that kind of stuff. Do yourself a favor, call the attorney's office and confirm that it's them. You can lose a lot of money, okay? And there's a lot of scammers out there, so make sure if you're about to give personal information or send money somewhere, you give them a call, double check, make sure that that email's good. Number 2, you're gonna have your mortgage broker, lender, there's a bunch of different names for them, but they're gonna be the one that goes from you to the bank and make sure that you can get a loan. And also they should be calling you, email, text message, you're gonna set that all up and make sure that the process is easiest for you. And then finally, you're gonna have a title company. And okay, I understand, you can save about $1,000 if you don't get title insurance, but understand that the title company is going to run the title and make sure that there's no liens against the title and to make sure that the person actually owns it. Because if you buy that house and something comes back, if you have title insurance, the attorney's office is gonna take care of it, you're free and clear, you don't have to pay any money out of pocket. But if something comes up and you don't have title insurance because you're being a little cheap and you didn't wanna pay for it, that is gonna be out of your pocket. You might have to go to court and you have to figure all this stuff out. I recommend title insurance. I don't get paid for you to have to do that, but also I don't want you to go through the burden of having that. It doesn't happen often, but it's a possibility. So before we go to the closing table and I explain a little bit about that, there's a huge thing you need to know. You gotta ask your agent, what are my utilities? What companies are there? And how do I turn them on, right? We need water, we need gas, we need electricity, we need internet, okay? You don't wanna buy the house, close on it, and then get there and then figure those things out. If they shut your water off, they're usually gonna charge you like a $250 fee when you could have just transferred it and it would have been zero. Also, when it comes to internet and all that kind of stuff, again, just get with your agent and it's gonna be an easy transfer. And then you can already get in contact with companies, start getting that stuff transferred over, and or right, having a technician be able to come out and set that stuff up for you the day you close on the house. Because you know how it is, I'm not trying to take your Netflix away, I'm not trying to take your Hulu away, right? Make sure you get the internet people out there. And if you need a contact from Middle Georgia, I got some awesome people. I love Cox Internet. I use Cox Internet and it's phenomenal. And I have a really, really great guy named Walt that does my internet. And I refer business out to him because he's amazing. He's ranked number 2 in the entire nation as a salesperson for Cox Internet. And he gets deals, okay? So if you need internet, I got you. He doesn't pay me anything, okay? And he's never sent me a client in his entire life. But he does good service, good work, great deals. Hey, it's closing day. You're about to buy a house. What do? 2 things, final walkthrough, morning up. Right before you purchase the house is my favorite time to do a final walkthrough. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take your fancy sheet of paper that you signed. It's called your seller's property disclosure. And there have had every box checked of the things that are gonna stay with the property. We're gonna walk through and see, okay, they checked the fridge is here. Okay, they checked the stove is here. Okay, they checked that really cool chandelier that I really wanted and it's gone. Where's my chandelier? They checked it. Guess what? They're gonna have to bring it back. When you made the offer on the property, you agreed on the seller's property disclosure that those items stayed. So we want to make sure that those items are still there. And if there was any damages that happened to the house when they moved out, let's say, for example, they had a moving company bring a couch from downstairs, the couch fell and knocked the railing off, right? We need to make sure before you exchange that currency and sign that dotted line that everything was how it was supposed to be. And then, hey, we made it to the closing table. Bring your ID card because you can't buy a house if they don't know you're not you, okay? So make sure you bring your ID, sign up with a smile on your face, and we're ready to buy a house. And essentially, that is what it takes to purchase a home. But hey, thanks for staying to the end of the video. I hope that wasn't too long. But again, if you're about to exchange hundreds of thousands of dollars on a property, I hope that you take the time to make it to the end. If you need anything, of course, book a call with me. I'd love to be able to talk about your real estate needs. We have a hot investors market here in the area. So if you're looking to build wealth and build a portfolio, I'd love to be able to help you. Or if you're looking to buy or sell, again, me and my team would be grateful and honored to be able to serve you and your family. I'll catch you on the next video. And if you have any video ideas, drop them in the comments below and I'll make sure that I get right on it to make that content for you.